Yes, welcome back. It's another week has passed, which means it's another lap guide. Really do hope you enjoyed last weekend's podcast with Chad Rice. Fat Furby and I sat down with him and had a lovely old chin wag, and boy, there's some stories in there. If you didn't see it, check it out. There'll be a link in the description and probably the first comment as well. So this week's Lambo, I just saw a couple of blokes chuck a time in the Lambo. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to learn how to drive that lately. So we've got brake balance front 2 or negative 2. We probably did about 100 kilometers, I think, and we've managed to smash out a 1:22.0. A little bit of time left in there for the hardcores, but this should be good enough to display what we're trying to get done here around brands. So without further ado, let's jump on board for turn 1. We're going to start with a still, I think. So yeah, sort of next to the 2 board here by the looks of it. It's going to be light braking. I like to have the car very settled. Threshold braking will unsettle the car here. We're just going to trail all the way down to the apex, try and get the right hand wheels up on that curb. Make sure we're using all this green stuff on the left on the drive out. Wide open throttle from the apex, braking at the shadows. I'm using that little light bit in between the shadows. Once that goes under the bonnet, chase cam blokes, probably once it goes under your roof. We're going to just drop to third, hold third for a long time. Now pick up second just as we come around to the apex. That just helps settle the car. Back on the juice nice and early, wide open throttle not long thereafter. Once again using the AstroTurf off the side of the road. Swinging it back to the right. Once again, no threshold braking, just a lot of trail. A little bit of a stab to unsettle the rear, help that rotate. Make sure we're using the AstroTurf on the exit here. I think we're braking just before the 1 board on the right hand side here. This is a little threshold section just to wipe some speed off, and then a long trail braking down prior to the apex, and then we're going to pick up the throttle as early as possible. So we should be on the juice almost now and wide open once that white line goes under the car. Really turn one of the few straights here into the longest straight you can. Don't know why we left it in slow-mo down here. I'm pretty sure we've talked about brake balance, so that was front to the 2. The number 2 board here on the left hand side, once again it's going to be sort of a no real threshold braking. It is a big stab and then straight back into some light trail braking. Turn in, pick up the throttle before the apex. You can use a little bit of curb on the exit there. Just halfway between the 1 and 2 boards, another stab on the brakes. Turn in, eat as much curb as you can. You're going to have to use as much AstroTurf up into the sand there as you can to minimize your lap times. This is another really difficult one. The tip for new players here is hold 4th. If you switch down into 3rd, you're going to bag it up on the exit and probably use a little bit of grass and spin out. So hold 4th, braking down to turn for one of the final left-hander, picking up the throttle before the apex, wide open just after. As you can see, really trying to maximize the track width here. It will punish you. The grass doesn't like to be used all that often, if at all. Braking just before the 1 board again, drop 2 gears. I think that's if we picked up 5th on this lap, not too sure. Onto the juice nice and early, just understeer your way to the white line on the exit there. Come back across to the right hand side of the track for the shortest run to the line, and hopefully that will give you a low 1 minute 20 somethings. So here we are with the tablets in chase view. Get a better idea of how much track we're using. Taking a break away from a few apexes here, not really on purpose. There, you can use that road. I would ideally like to get the left hand wheels up on that inside curb back there. This one is really tricky. You're sort of going to follow the curb on the right hand side, then all of a sudden when that white line is in the middle of the road, that's sort of your apex. You're really trying to come back and get to the left hand side of the track where that white line crosses the road and wide open throttle at the same time. So just watch the brake there, nice and gentle. Pretty much how you use the brakes in this final half of the circuit is how the car's going to react. So gentle on the brakes, gentle on the accelerator, trying to keep the car as stable as possible. It's really easy to spin out, especially if you touch a little bit of grass while the car's unsettled. It's going to launch you into the barriers. So maybe start giving yourself a little bit of room for error and then work your way out to the margins. And always the right hand side of the track there for the shortest run to the line. Back on board now for some fast mode. Braking at the brake in the shadows. Wait for second as long as you can. On the power nice and early. Using the AstroTurf on the exits. I'm sure that's what they put it there for. Really trying to get wide open throttle just on that white line. This is about the only time you get to compose yourself. I either had a good first half of the track or a good second half of the track. Couldn't really glue them together. Nice and gentle on the brakes all the way in the second half of the circuit now. Not too much over half brake pressure. Cracking the throttle seems to settle the car. For the eagle eyes, you will notice that many of these corners the throttle doesn't go completely closed. I have a feeling that just helps settle the car a little bit when I get back on the power. And now we have the old in-car view for the bumper cam players. Enjoy that lap, fellas, and good luck this week. For race strategy, the no stopper can be done. You can make this whole race on hards. It's 13 laps. I'm not sure which way I'd go yet. I sort of like to drive fairly aggressively. I'm more of a mediums to hards kind of guy. In that case, you're probably going to want to push 9 to 10 laps on the mediums before you come in for your hards, or you can go the old hard to medium if you think that's going to work. That might allow you to get even 11 laps out of your mediums, so you could probably do 2 hards on the front side, 11 mediums on the back side. That could also work if your tyre management is working for you. As always, just adjust those medium to hard runs with your tyre consumption. And yeah, at the front of the show we led with a little bit of Simcators. That's a podcast that I've started with Fat Furby on Saturdays. We pump one of those out anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, just talking all things consoles and racing. And yeah, check it out. Thanks fellas, see you later.